Hey guys, so I wanted to share a little something with you today. I'm actually going to share a few things, but I wanted to tell you a quick story first. Um, over the last, I don't know, a couple of months has been growing on me a little bit anyway. I've been watching different people as they've been talking about sets they're collecting, like full top sets, and I've never been one of those guys who wanted to go out and like buy a boxed set of cards. It's just not my thing. But the idea of putting together and building a set, that's actually a lot more fun to me. And so I've been trying to think about what I wanted to do and how I wanted to approach that. And like, do I want to do a top set? And I, I finally had kind of decided, yeah, I would. I'd like to do something. I'd like to do a top set. And I decided to do one from the 70s because I, I wanted to start inexpensive, partly just because I'm still working on my Hall of Fame binder. I wanted to be able to continue to pursue that. Plus, I've got other projects and so forth I'm working on. So, like a lot of you, I suppose, there's never just one thing you look for, and so there's all these different things I'm kind of picking up right now. Uh, and so, adding a set to that adds an element of fun and excitement for me, but I didn't want it to be an expensive prospect. So I'm like, well, let's start with something from the 70s. And if I'm going to try to stay inexpensive, stay away from some of the early 70s, especially the ones that have the more expensive high number cards. And also, I wanted to stay away from sets that had high priced rookies. Just again, just because it's my first time. And so those were a couple things that I was thinking about, and that sort of eliminates a few of the sets. Some of the sets I love. I mean, that eliminates the 71 for sure. Probably the 75, at least initially. Um, but uh, so anyway, so I kind of had narrowed it down to two different sets. I thought, well, I'm either going to go with the 76 or 77 because of those things, but also because I really like the sets. I like how they look. And I settled on the 76. I'm like, I think someday I'm going to start doing the 76 set, and once I'm kind of ready for that, I'll begin. I really like the 76 end. I like the little guys in the bottom corner that show the position of the player. I like how detailed it is. That even the pitcher's cards have either a left-handed or right-handed pitcher based on whether the player is right-handed or left-handed. Like I like those kinds of things. And people talk about the all stars in those sets, how it has a star on the bottom, and I actually prefer the ones that don't have the star because I like the little symbol on the bottom. Anyway, so I kind of settled on the 76. I think I'm going to do the 76 at some point when I'm ready. I'm going to start looking for a starter set. I know that's the best way to go when you're starting one of these kind of the vintage sets. Just find somebody that's selling like kind of a bulk lot of the cards, and so I'll do that. Um, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I started texting back and forth with Mike over at Mr. October and More, big Reggie Jackson guy. I'll post a link to his channel in here. But we were kind of texting back and forth, and he was showing me some of the stuff that he'd gotten, including some stuff for some sets. And I just mentioned to him, I said, one of these days I'm gonna do a set collection. And I'd already settled on 76 by this point, but I wasn't ready to advertise this yet, and so I didn't tell him where I was gonna begin or anything like that. And he shoots me a text message and says, "Hey, if you ever want to do the 76, let me know. I've got a bunch of cards in a closet." I didn't even respond. I didn't even I responded, "Hey, thanks, that's really kind," but I didn't say, "Hey, great," and because I didn't want to jump on it. It's very kind, very very kind of him to offer that, but well, long story short, he uh, sent me a text message last week asking for my address. I sent it to him, and I got a box in the mail. And you probably know what it is. Otherwise, the story is really pointless. He sent me a box of 76s. So I'm going to show the box and show a few of those cards. And it's just very, very kind of him. Mike, thank you very much for that. You didn't know. This is, I think, the first time Mike knows that was actually the set I was going to start with. I wanted to start with the 76. I've always had a fondness for that anyway, and it just seemed the logical place to start. set collecting, and then I'll maybe go into some of the earlier sets that I enjoy down the road. But anyway, let me show you those. I want to show you some Rickey Henderson cards as well. I picked up some Rickey Henderson cards last couple of weeks, and so I thought I'd show those. I'm showing some vintage. I might as well show some Rickey Hendersons, and actually the Rickey Hendersons I'm going to show you are all ultra modern, except for one. I'm going to show you one that's just modern, or high pop, as the high pop professor likes to say. But I'll show you those as well. So let me kind of make some adjustments here. I'll show you some of the 76s. I'm not going to go through them all, but I want to show you at least the box and a few of the cards that he had pulled out, and a couple that I pulled out as well. So anyway, let me do that, and then I'll show you some more cards, and we'll get this thing wrapped up. All right, so this is the box he sent me. It actually, he said, I don't know how many it has in it. Well, it has had a little over 300 cards. So the set has 660, I believe, and so I'm a little over 300, so not quite halfway there, but just cool. And so he sent me, he pulled a couple of them out and sleeved them, including the Tony Oliva. So that's of course a Hall of Famer. Now here's the weird way my brain works. If I'm going to do a set collect, I'm going to have my Tony Oliva with that set, and then if I want to pick up another one from my Hall of Fame, either the binder or my box, that'll have to go in there. He didn't pull this one out, but had some of the traded cards in there as well. And I love Fergie Jenkins. Underrated pitcher. He actually sent more than just that. He sent some cards from other years. I don't know if I've said this on my channel, but I'm kind of slowly, this isn't something I'm doing a lot of, but if I get to a Louis Tiant that I don't have, I pick it up. So that's actually Louis Tiant I didn't have. So thank you for that. And then Tony Perez, another Hall of Famer. This one from 1980, of course. Classic set. Another Hall of Famer that I did not have. I have a Tony Perez, but I don't have that card. I did want to show you the pictures. You can go through the box and kind of look. You can see. I love these. The little. This is what I'm talking about. The little players in the corners. But I wanted to show you the pictures just because I think that it's so. I just love the attention to detail. There's Ross Grimsley, and he's a left-handed pitcher. Throws left. So the little image has him pitching left-handed. There's Glenn Abbott. I just pulled these two at random. Right-handed pitcher. So they have him pitching right. So I'm going to have to get a binder. I do not have a binder that's big enough for this set. I've been looking and doing some research, trying to figure out the ones I want. I don't think a 3-ring binder. They do make some that aren't, but they're hard to find ones that are not 3-ring that have enough places. So if you have any suggestions or any ideas, I'd be happy to take those. But I do eventually want to put these in a binder. That's my goal. He did add, of course, he is Mike. He is Mr. October and more. But if you watch any of his channel, you'll know he has got a slew of Reggie Jacksons. And he's got all kinds of them that are just cool. And so he made sure to pull this one and separate it out. So that will go as part of my set as well. Again, a Reggie Jackson I did not have. So very excited about that. Thank you, Mike. Really appreciate that. You just don't know. Again, the community, generous as ever. And so I really appreciate that. In the background here, there's my Clemente, Martin Dihigo. And actually I have another one in the background here, which I'm going to pull up here. I did a separate video on Martin Dihigo about getting that card. If you haven't seen it, maybe I'll post a link to that in the section about the video itself, the description section. But just a good cause that Skaght is doing. But let me show you some cards. Let me show you a few Rickey Hendersons that I've picked up. over the last, this is over the last couple of weeks, I guess. The first one, I have to say a big thank you to Brent Richards. He showed this card on his channel, and because I haven't collected modern stuff, I didn't know about this card. This is from 2022. It's a Stadium Club. That is one of my favorite images of Rickey Henderson. What an amazing shot of him. And Brent, when you showed that card, I hopped on eBay, put a bid in for this one. Actually, it was on auction. Won it for $1. Some people like to get the chromes or the other things, and I didn't care about that so much. I just wanted the image of Rickey. And so, anyway, I picked this one up at a card shop. That is not your eyes. That is what the card looks like. Kind of wonder if that's not what Rickey looked like if he was running at you. So that's a pretty cool card of Rickey Henderson. Now I'm going to show you one that I told you I had one that was not ultra modern. That's the 1990 Rickey Henderson. But I think you'll see in a moment why I'm sharing that one. It's a good card for sure. I'm going to leave it sitting right there so you'll remember. A few months ago I picked this card up at a card show. Of course, it's got this is the 88 look. And I love the way that they have done these with these cards, where they have taken these players and put them in the cards that look like they were when I was growing up. And then, of course, looks like the 88. I've picked up a few different players like that one. Maybe just a couple different. I picked up Andrew McCutcheon like that as well. But anyway, when I was at this card shop, I was at this card shop where they had this one. They had a couple of other Rickey Hendersons that were throwbacks as well. That one's 88, but these were from 1990. These were from 90. Oh. And you can see just the image on those. Love this card. And then I got one more. He had another one, Rickey, as well. This one's got a little shine to it. And now, kind of funny, in 90, Rickey was playing for the Athletics. In 88, he was playing for the Yankees. So they took this card, but they knew Rickey Henderson is primarily known, of course, as an Oakland A's. So anyway, that's all I have for you today. I've got a couple of other, actually got a few other videos planned in the future. And I just haven't had time to do anything. I missed most of Hobbypalooza. It's just been a crazy weekend, and so I'm going to be going back and watching some of those videos that I've missed along the way. And but anyway, if you've made it this long, I appreciate it. Thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next one.